Chair, I beg to move that Clause 3 be amended as stipulated on the order paper, and the import of this amendment, Honorable Speaker, is to amend the core capital required for banks, mortgage finance companies, and mortgage finance companies, so that by 31st of December 2024, all of them should be within the threshold of R1 billion, and which all are. Then by 31st of December 2026, they should have attained the core capital requirement of 5 billion shillings, and by 31st of December 2028 to attain the core capital threshold of 10 billion shillings. Honorable Speaker, this is just amending from what was there in the bill. The bill required that the banks should attain the core capital of 10 billion shillings by 31st of December 2027, which is just about 3 years, in 3 years' time. We are now extending that 10 billion shillings to 4 years, up from 3 years. And the bill had also required them to attain 6 billion in 2 years, and we have brought that down to 5 billion in 2 years. I beg to move.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 3 be amended as proposed. Yes. The Honorable Karoli Omondi.
We don't share that view. So may we be heard?
Yes, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, banks generally are not supposed to be uniform. By insisting on a uniform core capital base for all the banks, we are actually trying to interfere with how the market should work. Different banks serve different segments of the society. There could be a bank, if you go to South Africa, a bank that is dealing strictly with farmers on farm inputs. Why does it need the same capital base as Nedbank that deals with transnational investments? I think it is wrong. The central bank we should have different tiers of banks at different capitalization levels, dealing with different segments of society. If we insist that banks must have uniform capital, what in effect we will be doing is to create higher entry barriers for new business people who may wish to start banks, and also to create a small exclusive club of first-tier banks that may not necessarily be responsive to the needs of the rest of the market. And to make matters worse, the core capital is not the money that the banks use for their core business. Banking is based on leveraging of the core capital. It is based on insurance schemes. It is based on deposits. So to assume that the higher the capital base, the safer the bank will be, history does not tell us that. Lehman Brothers collapsed.
What's your point of order, Honorable Majority Leader?
Chair, just to guide the member that we are in committee, we are not in second reading, but also he's misinforming the House. And he knows that even now, the core capital requirement for banks is standard. The Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 has nothing to do with core capital, and the Honorable Karoli Omondi surely does know that. And it's also true that banks are stratified. That is why the law today allows you to have microfinance banks that are a lower category than the normal commercial banks. But also, my point of order was that he was now debating. We were past debate yesterday when debated.
Yes, the Honorable, yes? Order, Karoli have not finished. Can you proceed, Karoli?
I have not finished. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. You see, we need to really understand why we are doing these kind of things. If you begin to categorize financial institutions as micro and the rest, you are basically excluding certain segments of society, because that categorization limits the quality and the extension of services that they can offer people. There is nothing wrong having a bank of 1 billion core capital, another one of 20 billion core capital, depending on the business they are doing. There's nothing wrong. But to insist that they all must have a uniform core capital is wrong. And if you remember, the banks that have collapsed in this country, Chase Bank, Imperial Bank, even the big ones, Barings Bank, Lehman Brothers, they did not collapse because they had low core capital. They collapsed because of mismanagement. So this is not what we should be doing if we are talking about financial inclusion. We should allow new people to come up with new banks, with low capital, and banks that can be responsive to the needs of the market. Thank you.
You made your point, MP for Kenango.
Thank you, Chair.
I will give you, Chair, don't worry, I'll give you an opportunity.
Chair, as much as we would wish to support this amendment,
yes,
I think that the time frame that has been cited is too short. You know, growing from a core capital of 1 billion to 10 billion within a span of 4 years is really unreasonable. We are going to kill the little kids in the block, the little banks that are coming up. And indeed, I have some, just like the Honorable Kalori has just said, talk of farmers' banks, whose core capital is just $1 billion. Within 4 years, it will be too ambitious to bring them to speed at the level of 10 billion. I oppose this amendment.
The Honorable Dawood.
Chair, I support this amendment. Chair, it does not make any sense having small banks. We need to consolidate the banking industry in this country. And if any bank which feels it cannot, it can go the route of microfinance, Chair. So there is no reason. So I support this amendment, Chair.
The Honorable Kaguchia.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kimani, you'll have your moment.
I know for sure we had already looked at the second reading of this bill. But, Chair, the reason why we should also be going through these amendments and making our points is also so that it can either sail through or fail at this point. Honorable Speaker, Chair, we are not doing this just for the purposes of doing it. For sure, this is something that most of us are actually opposed to, because if you look at the time duration in which we are giving these banks to be able to raise their core capital is, number one, too short. Number two, the core capital that we are requiring that we raise to is so high, Honorable Chair, and this, in fact, is going to exit most of the smaller banks from the country or force them to either merge, consolidate, or even force the foreigners to come and buy local banks, Honorable Chair. And so that is why I'm totally opposed to this amendment at this stage.
The Honorable Oundo, be very brief. You know, this is the third minute.
Chair, I just wanted your guidance. There are very many amendments on that particular clause. Probably I also have an amendment I would wish to prosecute.
We will go one by one. We will deal with this, and we have a number of amendments, and we'll deal with them one at a time.
Okay, fine, that's understood.
Okay, the Honorable Malio, the Honorable Member of Parliament there, yes. Kitui Rural, proceed.
Chair, I totally oppose this amendment. As a member of Finance Committee, we made the stakeholders, six banks cannot raise this amount of money within 4 years. That means these banks are going to collapse. We are going to have financial shocks in the country, and we are going to lose employment.
Do you wish to be informed by the majority leader?
As a committee, we have proposed 7 years. Thank you very much.
Do you wish to be informed by, the Honorable Chair Finance? Let me give you this opportunity, Chair Finance. Chair Finance, proceed.
Honorable Chair, I would like to inform this House on a few things. One, we have 24 commercial banks in Kenya. Out of these 24 banks, there are 18 of them already. Their core capital is around 6 billion shillings. We have only 6 banks that are between 3 billion and 5 billion, and that is a fact. And therefore, the amendment, the Committee of Finance had proposed to have within 8 years. But the leader majority, majority is bringing an amendment to reduce that to within 4 years. And if you look at now the time that is given, I think it's a reasonable ask, but the House should make a decision on this matter. On the question of tiers of banks, it is a discussion we had with
What is, as a chair of the committee, what is your position? Yes, what's your point of order, Honorable Media Diambo? She's on a point of order, so let's wait. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm requesting the chairman of finance to be seated.
Chairman of Finance and Majority Leader, please be seated.
Because it's on the floor, so the rules require that he sits. The Majority Leader can stand because it's not on the floor.
Proceed. What's your point of order? Okay, you got your point of order.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my concern is that, and perhaps that is the reason that you see the Finance Chair and the Majority Leader are conversing. Chair, if a committee has done a report and brought before the House, and the Majority Leader has a different proposed amendment or opinion, Chair, that is something that is left to the House. The Chair of Finance has no business trying to persuade us to then follow the Majority Leader, unless I didn't hear him right, or unless he's departing from his own committees, which is not also allowed by rules. He has to persuade his own committee.
Order, Honorable Millie. Chair of Finance was categorical. He said, given the number of banks that have got that threshold now, they did not accept. I mean, they are not in line. Am I right? You are not in support of exactly what the Majority Leader is trying to do as an amendment.
For the record, the Committee of Finance and National Planning, in our report, we had recommended that we give them 8 years.
Okay.
And that is in our report. That
Fair enough. You are bound by the collective.
Majority, like any other member, is allowed to bring an amendment to the floor of the House. And then now the decision is what this House will pronounce.
Absolutely. No, you've done it. Makilap. I will just take two more and then I'll put a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Can I be given audience?
But the chair is also able
Mr.
to see the... Yes.
After I'm a member of Finance and
Committee.
Planning.
Yes.
After receiving views from Kenyans through public participation.
Yes.
After examining the situation in our country.
Yes.
And after even looking at, even if banks were to merge, the merger process takes about 3 years.
Yes.
Even if they were to reorganize their capital, they will take more time. That is why the committee felt that, after listening to Kenyans, felt that, honestly, these Kenyans require time to meet the demand, and that's why we have agreed 8 years as a committee of the National Assembly of Finance and National Planning.
Honorable Ngusia, you had something to say?
Chair, I just share the same sentiments my colleague has expressed, that I think we need enough time for the
I think you've already done sufficient ventilation. Just to be on the gender balance, yes, and the Honorable Emase.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I do not agree with that amendment.
Fair enough.
It is not in the interest of this House to kill businesses and to
It's
destroy
you to decide
the few existing jobs, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
If it has to be brought, then they must be given sufficient time to raise the required capital.
Okay, honorable members, I think we've... Makali Mulu, this has had sufficient ventilation. Let me put the question so that you decide. Okay, you're the last one. Proceed.
Okay, Honorable Speaker.
Are you a member of the Finance Committee?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm in budget, but you know this is my area.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm just saying, Honorable Speaker, you know the committee and the benefit of doing public participation. I'll request my majority leader, Ichungwa, that we go by the committee proposal so that we save this country. Thank you.
Question? I now put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed. As many as that appear and say aye. As many of control appear and say nay. The ayes have it. Chair, proceed.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 3 be amended as per the order paper, that the bill be amended by deleting clause 3 and substituting thereof with the following new clause.
Order, honorable member, listen to the finance chair who is moving an amendment and listen to the substance of the amendment.
I beg to move, Honorable Chair, that clause 3 be amended by deleting clause 3 and substituting therefore the following new clause. The second schedule to the Banking Act is amended by deleting paragraph D and substituting therefore the following new paragraph. D, a core capital of at least 10 billion shillings in the case of a bank or a mortgage finance company, provided that the provisions of the paragraph shall apply in accordance with the following table. Compliance date for core capital requirement of 1 billion, 31st of December 2024, 3 billion shillings for that 1st December 2025, 4 billion shillings that 1st of
Boni,
December 2026.
can you listen?
5 billion shillings that 1st of December 2027, 6 billion shillings 31st of December 2028, 7 billion shillings December 31st, 2029, 8 billion shillings 31st December 2030, 9 billion shillings 31st of December 2031, and 10 billion shillings December 31st, 2032. And by deleting paragraph E and substituting therefore the following new paragraph, that a core capital of at least 2 billion shillings in the case of a financial institution, and now the following schedule for minimum core capital of the compliance date, December 31st, 1999, 150 million shillings. 31st December 2000, 187.50 million shillings. 31st December 2001, 225. 31st December 202, 262.5. December 31st, 203, 300. December 31, 204, 337.5. December 31st, 2005, 375. So this amendment, Honorable Chair, is what the committee had decided to increase gradually within the eight years. And that I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Order, honorable members. I now propose the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the finance chair, Kimani. Okay. Honorable Ichungwa.
Honorable Chair, I wanted to seek your indulgence to give us a few minutes to consult with the chair and members of the Finance Committee on that particular clause, because there is a risk of going back to the 3 years that is in the bill. And I would really seek your indulgence that we do consult so that the chair does move his amendment in an amended form. Otherwise, we will go back to the 3 years that is in the bill. 3 years, not instead of 8 years, you go back to the 3 years in the bill. So we consult and he moves his amendment in an amended form. Or we stick to the 3 years that as was proposed in the bill. Just give us a few minutes.
Order. Honorable Majority Leader. Order, honorable members. Yes. The finance chair is seeking an amendment. And that amendment is in the order paper. So the presumption is that every member has internalized this and basically has taken a position on it. So where do you have, what kind of a consultation? There's no additional new information that has come in. This is an amendment that was already there in the order paper, and all members must have read the amendments. And if anybody wants to put some light on it, has a position, then proceed. The amendment, you have amended as per the order paper. You're seeking an amendment as per the order paper. Order, honorable members. Honorable Kimani. Chair. Your amendment is nothing fresh. It's in conformity with what you have in the order paper. Am I right? Yeah. No, clause 3. We have not put in the question for clause 3. You amended clause 3 yourself. Yeah. Give me that. I give you 5 minutes as a finance committee and the majority leader to consult on this, because you're trying to reach a kind of a middle ground on that. So, order. Is there any other member who wants to contribute? Yes, proceed. Who's a member? Eh? Well, look, are you still raising your hand, or you have decided? Okay. Huh? Yes, Honorable Kenan.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of the committee.
Go, proceed. I'm hearing you.
I am a member of the committee, and I want to talk to my colleagues direct. We are already reeling from the effects of the Gen Z activities. We need to allow the small businesses, including the banks, to recoup and put themselves in a manner that they can grow. I want to beseech you.
Honorable
4 years is such a short time. Tomorrow there will be a crisis. Many of them will close their doors.
Yes, MP for Kichogo.
What has been...
So proceed, on McKinnon. Honorable Kimani, you better listen to your colleagues in the Finance Committee.
You have reached a consensus.
But then, what? Proceed with your...
Okay, I was saying, I'm told now the chair and the ML and other groups have agreed. But what I wanted to persuade you is, we are in this country, we understand the business climate. Let us not cause another crisis. The timeline given by the committee members was informed by the critical public participation. We have had the public. We need to hear the public. We need to resonate our thinking with what the people on the ground are saying. Let us go by the recommendation of the committee. It makes sense. It will allow a gradual change from what was there. Okay. What I'm trying to say is this. Okay, what I'm trying to, I'm told. You are vertically. What I'm trying to say is this. We have gone round. We have had the views of the Kenyan public. It's just a few months ago that we have had challenges. I want to beseech you. Let us protect the small, struggling businesses everywhere in Kenya. Because our work is to provide a conducive legislation so that banks can grow, small businesses can grow. But whatever the chairman and the ML and other members have agreed, I am told is halfway. That might be conducive. But I want to urge you, make a prudent decision in this. This is critical.
Okay, Boyen, yes.
Mr. Speaker, this amendment...
Your agreement has got to be carried by the Senate of the House.
Yes,
proceed.
Honorable Chair, that this amendment is very important. And very important in two senses, Mr. Speaker.
Order, honorable members, order. Yes, proceed.
Number one, Honorable Speaker, we want to build our financial sector or the banking sector to be a very strong sector in terms of employing our people. And also, number two, to make sure that we have access to credits, Mr. Speaker. So number two, Mr. Speaker, we don't want to also, again, to entertain those banks, the banks, Mr. Speaker, which are not able to sustain competition and to sustain business in the market. And we have seen many of them collapsing because of issues liquidity. Mr. Speaker, I would want to ask the committee to agree and strike a balance so that we don't legislate, to kill businesses. At the same time, we don't legislate to have institutions which are not functional.
MP for Gishogo. Nice. Yes. MP for Gishogo.
Chair, had I not been caught up by time, I would have proposed an amendment to delete the entire clause. Because we should leave business to thrive at their own pace and ability. And those kind of issues that have been raised that people can merge. People come into business with their own principles of operating. But now, because I'm a bit late on this amendment, then I would propose that we go by 8 years or even 10 years so that businesses can grow. We need, as long as they are regulated, they can have as low core capital as possible.
Okay. Muriu. Wait, you'll move that amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I think we are dealing with an issue here, Mr. Speaker, where we are trying to regulate businesses. And therefore, we need to be very careful. As a government, are we pro-business or anti-business? Now, if you are pro-business, then what you need to do, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, is to do away with this clause. Let the business grow organically. Remember, already these banks you're talking about, it is the employees who are paying the chief, the SHA, the NSSF, and the housing. And to be very honest, Mr. Speaker, they are even forced to increase the salaries for their staff. Therefore, we are increasing the problem over the problem. Mr. Speaker, my opposition is that this clause needs to be deleted altogether. Thank you.
Yeah, the Honorable Alice Nganga. Alice Nganga. Yes, what's your point of order?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
I'll give you a moment. Yeah, proceed, Alice, and then Kajuan can come after. Give the mic to Alice. Alice Nganga.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just like life, there are people who are ahead, there are others who are behind. But within time, even the ones who are behind usually catch up with the ones who are ahead. Let us give our businesses in this nation a conducive environment to thrive. Let us give our banks a time to thrive. Today, I might not be the reading bank, but next year, I might be the one who is reading. So let us give them enough time, rather than saying this one have to merge with this other one. No, let other businesses outside here have their time, and also to sell their product. I might not be selling very well this year, but I might be selling very well next year.
Okay. Yeah, Honorable Kajwang. There are three ways you have to look at this thing.
Mr. Speaker,
yes.
Let us be sober on this matter. First of all, Chair of Finance, you need to lead us properly. You need to let us know if we are kind of freezing, giving a holiday, tax holiday for 10 years. No. This is very important to understand this so that we know whether to support you or not to support you. Are you saying that the period is frozen for 10 years? Within that period, there will be no growth. That is number one. But as I understand it, these things are progressively done every other 3 to 4 years. And every year, we have a finance bill coming. And in that finance bill coming, National Assembly will always revise as it is necessary. So there are two things. If we fear that the problem will be that we will not extend as it will come in the financial bill, then you need to work out an amendment between you and the majority leader to give us 3 or 4 years renewable by the House when we come on financial. But it makes no sense to me that you can freeze for 10 years. 10 years, a tax holiday. I mean, it's not a tax holiday, a decapitation. You cannot freeze for 10 years.
What's the point?
It does not make sense.
Do you wish to be informed? Yeah. Do you wish to be informed by Honorable Kimani? Proceed.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Chair and then leader.
Honorable Chair, I think the MP for Ruaraka is not well appraised of this matter.
I can see this. He has not internalized very well.
The point in question is not a tax problem. It is the core capital.
It is the core capital growth
for the financial institutions.
Yes.
However, Honorable Chair, so that we make progress, Honorable Chair, we have consulted with the members of my committee, and we have consulted with the majority leader, and now I'm moving an amendment in an amended form so that we can get a compromise where the banks will have time to comply with the core capital, and again, not so long that there are risks of also those banks collapsing with people's deposits. In any case, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, as I explained, most of the banks are already compliant. So already 18 of these banks are above 6 billion shillings core capital already. Only 6 are between 5 and 3 billion. And therefore, if we get a compromise of instead of 10 years, or instead of what is proposed in the bill within 3 years, we say like 5 years, then that is a reasonable time for these banks to comply.
Can I have a majority leader you wish to? And then Benjamin Lagat.
Just a point of information I was giving the member for Oraka.
But he's not on the floor anymore.
Well, as a point of information to the House, because since he had conceded, and also to set the record straight, Honorable Speaker. Because what we are talking about, core capital of a bank. If you can protect me from these members who are making noise behind me. Core capital of a bank, Honorable Speaker.
They're consulting, they're not making noise. Proceed.
Is about, forget the capital owners, the bank owners. It is about your constituents, the people who have elected you to represent them here. People who will never raise billions. People who walk into a bank to deposit their hard-earned 1,000 shillings, 10,000 shillings, 100,000. When these banks collapse because of inadequacy of capital, and I want to agree with Caroli at times mismanagement, it is your constituents who suffer, not the capital owners. Therefore, this House can never be seen to be defending and speaking on behalf of capital owners. Point number one. Point number two, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable TJ is right. This House legislates every year and every day. If we legislate today, nothing stops this House from changing legislation if we find that any of the 6 banks that have not met that threshold are unable to meet validly. To protect our people, Honorable Speaker. And I say this because I want to speak to the people of Kikuyu and the people of Kenya who put their hard-earned deposits in banks. The Honorable TJ is right. This House has legislated before on the core capital requirements for insurance companies in the same financial sector. And we gave a graduated program as we are doing now. And when at times they were unable to meet that threshold, we would come back and re-legislate in a finance bill. What is so special about these banks today, Honorable Speaker? And I want to prevail on members to agree to the position that we have agreed on, a compromise that in the first 2 years, the banks do comply to raise their core capital to 5 billion shillings. Only 6 commercial banks have not met that threshold as we speak today. In another 5 years, up from the 4 years that was in my amendment, Honorable Speaker, everybody complies to that 10 billion shillings. Should there be legitimate cause to re-legislate, you still be members of parliament. At least a good number of you. You come back and re-legislate.
Fair enough.
But serve your core business by protecting depositors, not capital owners.
Benjamin Lagat. Order. Let's listen to Benjamin Lagat.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course, I was supporting the position of the committee because I'm the vice chairman of the committee, but I want to support the compromise position. And Mr. Speaker, 1 billion core capital has been working for the last 8 years. So if we come back and say we want to increase it within 1 year by 100%, Mr. Speaker, that is very stiff. And to get 1 billion, Mr. Speaker, is not very easy. In fact, if we were to go that direction, it means the banks will not be lending for the next 4 years to the public because now they have to struggle to get money to become the core capital of their business. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the compromise position. And, Mr. Speaker, we must give time for these businesses to get the money to be able to capitalize themselves. Thank you.
So, Benjamin, your position, you debated something purely on a certain position, but what exactly are you proposing now?
I have said I support the compromise position of 5 years, but definitely 8 years would have been.
But on the other hand, you're saying that by raising 2 billion in a year is too much. I mean,
yes, I've said 1 billion shillings
is a lot.
Has been the core capital for the last 8 years.
Yes.
And we have fairly operated well with the 1 billion.
So
now we are saying we want to raise the 3 billion in 2 years, which is 1.5 billion per year, which is still a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. But since now we have, that is the compromise position that we have, then I support that one.
The Honorable, yes.
point of order. Yes. If there is a compromise on such a serious issue such as this, it has to be reduced in writing, and members must see the text before we are able to pass or vote on it. Thank you.
I want to hear Ndikiri and the Honorable Chair of...
the Chair, I'm concerned about the new entrants and those ones who would like to start a business. If we are going to legislate and come up with a law that pegs a certain volume of the capital, and they are new, upcoming, we needed to have, whether they will have adequate time to raise that share capital, core capital. I think it is very important, because we are saying that it is not that we are going to have 24 banks in Kenya. We need to leave room for others to grow and become very competitive. So if we are going to pass a law that is only looking at 24 banks, I don't think that we'll be doing very good justice to all those interested in coming up with the business to do with the banking. Because we have seen circles which want to grow. And I know if we use the same principle, of core capital, there's more upcoming circles which want to turn into banks will be curtailed from putting up their bid to become bankers in this country.
Honorable members, can I just do some explanation? I'm not a finance person, but I just want to understand it. The original amendment by the majority leader was that the 10 billion should be raised in 4 years. In 3 years. Okay. No, 4 years. It's 4 years. Order in 4 years. The amendment by the Finance Committee was in 8 years. And now you want to reach a compromise of 5 years. That is a position. So if you understand it, then debate on the basis of that. Fair enough, Rindikiri. It's your moment. Has he contributed? You have contributed. The Honorable DK.
I think mine is just on a clarification. You know we are an house of rules. And there was what is in the order paper. And I think order paper is there to bring order. So can you actually rule, can we do something that is outside the order paper? Or we need to amend the order paper so that it reflects the agreement? Yeah. No, that's why I'm giving it to... Yeah. You know we are in the process of learning. That's why I'm giving it to the Speaker.
Other amendments and the further amendments and the further amendments. You can change what's here. No. Just put it. Order, honorable members. Is there another honorable member who wants to contribute? Dawood, you have heard your moment. Okay, Gichogo, MP for Gichogo. No, you're going to move the amendment. Let's just do the bit of ventilation. Yes. He's going to move the further amendment, and then you can speak on it.
Yes. Chair, in the further amendment.
Yes.
Chair, in the further amendment, is it possible also the chair to give an exemption to startups, to the banks that are starting up? Because what we are saying is that for you to start a bank in another 4 years, you require a whole 6 billion shillings to start a bank. So, actually 10 billion to start a bank. And we have so many circles that are supporting the common man. And they would also like to rise to be banks. Actually, the banks that are existing are the promoters of this amendment so that they can be able to lock anybody else who wants to become a bank in this country.
I support 10B.
Actually, the chair, if I look at the the order paper here. On the amendments by the chair. You say a core capital of at least 10 billion Kenya shillings in the case of a bank or a mortgage finance company. So that both of them are there. A mortgage finance company and... Okay, do you want to move the amendment that you had? Drop first the original amendment. Yes. Yeah. You're on a point of order? Yes. Can you give him the mic? I know we are rushing through something that is central in this.
We are making what I call a principle. Because that does not mean that this country will have only 24 banks. How are we going to encourage the coming ups? Because after 5 years, we will lock 24. Because I can't raise 10 billion shillings without due respect. The matter of principle that we are laying through this bill, it must be progressive. It must be something that is going to promote business to thrive. We are encouraging formation of circles, and these circles need to be given time to incubate and grow. Now, when we cap after 4 or 5 years, 10 billion, it means anybody else trying to bring entering banking sector in this country must raise 10 billion. Then we have to make a law that is...
Yeah, the MP for Trans Nzoia. Fair enough.